Stories
T3 Media.
Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of Talking Through the Media. This is the Randumb specific show. I am your host, Fagan, and this is a show where we're going to talk about a few things in the world of entertainment news. We're going to get into the main topic about that later. As you saw on the thumbnail, something shocked the world yesterday. We're going to talk a little bit about what's streaming and also what's going on in movie theaters. We're going to do that in the opposite order of what I mentioned it in. And joining me on a Friday before our possible date night tonight is no, it's not. It's not Daniel. It's Joy. Hey, Joy. Joy, how you doing, baby?
I'm good, babe.
All right. You're like, hey, what? Who are you going out with tonight? I'm like, it's you. It's always you. But like I said, guys, we're going to talk about three topics: one in movie news, entertainment news, and TV. What's streaming out there and stuff. So stick around, and if you have any questions, comments, concerns, let us know about that stuff. Like I said, Talking Through the Medias, we have our own podcast. If you can't catch us live, if you're not watching us on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook, you can also catch the podcast. Check your favorite podcast of choice. If you are watching us live, you can send us super chats. You can send your questions in for us to use on our upcoming We Got Your Mail. And I was talking about bringing that back. I haven't done a We Got Your Mail in a while. And if you want to become a YouTube member, we're going to be putting YouTube exclusives out there for you guys to watch. But before I get into the main topic, like I said, we do movie news, then we do what's streaming, and then we talk about what's going on. The breaking news, the main thing that we're going to talk about, obviously, is Kevin Samuels, and that's going to come up in the end. And I'm going to fly through the first two things fast because we're going to get into that right away. I don't want to waste anybody's time who's only here for that. And so real quick, the only thing that's in the world of movie news was obviously what happened with with Doctor Strange. I didn't put up got a Doctor Strange panel graphic up, but we saw the Doctor Strange film at the premiere a couple of days ago. I did a review a couple of days early, and I'm not going to get into any spoilers on that. We're not going to talk about that for a long time because, like I said, we got another main topic to talk about. So there is a review that's up on the channel. But I didn't get your thoughts overall on Doctor Strange. What did you think about it?
It was good. I enjoyed it. The Doctor Strange is not one of my favorite characters. So
you're not one of the I'm not going to say the word.
I'm not. But I bet it was a good movie. I mean, like the first one I didn't.
Yeah.
This one I watched all of it.
All right, boo. But internationally, it's already brought in about 85 million. I'm thinking it's gonna be the number one movie. There's a bunch of other stuff. So I got it displayed at the bottom. Like I said, I'm not gonna waste time talking about movie stuff because that's not the main thing to talk about. But if you guys want to go back and talk about the movies that are turning 30, turning 20, turning 10, or it's in theaters now and coming soon, I got the graphic in the lower third. You guys can check that out if you want to send any comments about that stuff. What, Spider-Man is turning 30 or not turning 20? Stuff like that. Let's talk about that. Moving on to streaming news. Not much news on that, besides because I haven't watched Ozark. I haven't watched all the other things that I wanted to watch, but we're starting to watch. We finished up the first season of Minx. What do you think? Which one do you like better, Minx or Winning Time?
They're just so different.
And for you guys that don't know, Minx is a series that's on HBO Max. It's on HBO. That's about what? You know what? I took a risk putting that image up. Not knowing what might pop up.
It is. I mean, it's not like a true story, but loosely based on the creation of the first female porn mag.
Porno magazine.
So
that wasn't the real name of the magazine.
No, it's.
Do you know what the real name of the magazine is? Because I'm judging you right now,
don't know.
Mrs. Fagan. How do you know about that magazine?
But I was cracking up because it's in the 70s.
Uh-huh.
So the lingo, it's full of a lot of dongs.
To put it lightly. Some hard, some flaccid. I noticed that you clean your glasses right before one is about to show up. That's weird. But yeah, it's very dong heavy.
But it was pretty funny.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Dongs are very funny. Fine. More dongs in a little bit. But it's a good show. I think overall, Winning Time is better, slightly better.
I mean, Winning Time is really heavy. It's more drama.
Yeah.
This one's a comedy. Yeah. So they're just really different.
Comedy and drama versus Winning Time is drama than comedy, which is what I did not expect because everybody looking at it thinking it's going to be sports heavy, even though it's about basketball. It's not just about that. It's about some compelling stuff. So go ahead and check that out if you guys are interested in those. HBO Max is what's crushing it right now. I have on the lower third, I have the streaming platforms that are in the order of who's more subscribed. HBO Max is in fourth place on this graphic, but I'm pretty sure HBO is going to be crushing it pretty soon. So check those out in the future. All right.
Got a show coming up soon next month.
Which one?
Evil's Back.
Oh yeah, that's going to be on Paramount though, right? Is that Paramount? Yeah. So we're going to be reviewing that. Okay, so we got the movie news out the way. We got what we're watching on streaming. So like I said, that's the lineup. So the main topic is, for real quick, let's moving on to the entertainment news side of it is, I didn't have time to get graphics up, so I just put it up on Twitter, and I just put it up there. Kevin Samuels, you are not a Kevin Samuels fan. He closes his eyes and like, no. I became a Kevin Samuels subscriber and a follower. And the show is called Random Specific. One of the things that I told the panel, to make the name of the show make more sense, bring up a random fact about something, and then we're going to get into specifics of things later. Random fact. When I first got into Kevin Samuels, because you know, I've been married. I was married before I've been married to my ex-wife, and one of our conversations, it was a very heated conversation I was about to have with my ex-wife. And it was one of those conversations where back in the day, like I would let her get under my skin. So in one conversation, and I recorded it. She doesn't know this. And I since deleted it, so I'm okay with confessing this now. But I recorded a conversation with my ex, and she was getting under my skin about something. And I tapped into my inner Kevin Samuels. And every time she tried to yell or talk over me, I kept saying, "Don't talk over me. Don't talk." One of his classic lines on that chat. So it was funny. It was interesting how it worked. I know Kevin Samuels is very controversial and pisses a lot of people off. His tone, that's something you said a lot. I don't like his tone. Well, he ain't. Well, and you know, it's funny because we were talking about Kevin Samuels and we were talking about his tone. And I said, well, he's not going to change it. And that was the day before we found out he died. Oh, man. But even if he didn't pass away, no, he was not on a path. He wasn't going to change it. Man was 56 years old. He ain't going to change his tone. Nobody, I mean, at that age, when you reach a certain age, okay, I don't care what people think about me. So, but I'm not going to lie. It put in that conversation, at least it put her in her place in that one. So I appreciate you, Kevin Samuels, for inspiring me to win that argument. But the specifics on the whole thing last night when we were watching, when I saw the news pop up, I thought it was like maybe like a troll or a rumor thing, because he's got a lot of traffic who would spread a rumor like that. I was thinking maybe he was on a plane, or maybe he was going into the hospital for something minor. But we bumped into a channel where a young lady was trying to find out specifically what was going on. And you have a medical background, so it was funny because while I was listening to that her try to find out, is the rumor true? Is he really gone? And making those phone calls to hospitals and stuff, you were like on the spot in real time, correcting me of like what can and cannot be said. Can you kind of talk about? She's a nurse, by the way.
I mean, a lot of the stuff that people were, I mean, obviously it ended up turning out to be true. Mm-hmm. It's just they were using certain statements in order to go with, yep, this this is probably true. When it's stuff that, for example, she called
a coroner office.
She called the medical examiner's office, and I was like, really and truly, if you want to test your hypothesis, she should be calling with a made-up name. I'm not talking about herself, but she should have called and said, "Hey, I'm wanting to check and see if."
And we're talking about Melanie King, by the way.
Because she called and said, "Oh, I'm calling to see if a friend of mine, I think, has passed away. I want to know if you have that person there. His name's Kevin Samuels." And they said, "We can neither confirm nor deny." And so everybody
made her worried.
"Oh, that means yes. That means yes," because they wouldn't say that. And I said, "You don't really." First of all, they're not allowed to say anything. Mm-hmm. It doesn't really matter if he was there. Mm-hmm. They're not going to say, "Oh yeah, he's here."
Right.
That's not how they would say it. And I said, you could have easily proven that by calling back a few minutes later with a fake name and said, "Hey, I'm calling for my friend. I want to know if."
And they would have said they gave
Rose McGowan has, I was told she passed away and I'm a family member.
Or was hurt or injured or something, and they're not really allowed to give that.
Should have said the same thing. We can't confirm or deny that information. Right. And then you would have known, oh, they say that for everybody. But you're just basing it on one name. Mm-hmm. And I also said, not that I'm some sort of celebrity knowledge, but we've seen enough TV to know that most people, he's not a huge celebrity, but still he does have a following. Mm-hmm. Most people of that type of status, if they go into the hospital for scheduled, sick, whatever, they don't use their real name.
Right.
They get admitted as a no information patient and they use a fake name because they know people will call to ask for that. So when you call and say, "I'm looking for my friend, can you give me, are they a patient there or whatever," and you ask for Kevin Samuels, they're going to say, "No, he's not here." Right. Because he's not admitted he's not admitted under that name anyways. Well, they're allowed to tell you if a patient is there as long as they're not listed as no info. Mm-hmm. They can't give you details. They can't tell you why. They can't tell you if they're doing okay. They can't tell you that, but they can say, "Yeah, they are a patient. Do you want me to transfer you to their room?" Right. If they don't have if they're not listed as no information, they just won't tell you, "Oh yeah, they're in room 500 or they're here." They'll just
otherwise they could get hounded by harassers.
They can just say, "Yes, I'll would you like me to transfer?" And that's really all they can say. Mm. But 100%. He's not going to have himself listed to be open to having people just randomly call. Mm-hmm. And he would be listed as no info. Now,
does that matter if, like, let's say, for example, when, I guess because the girl who found him, I guess, I'm assuming was his girlfriend. I don't have the details on it. When they went to the hospital, would that already be in place? Or would they think because this might be, maybe the girlfriend would say he's a high, I would think that in the moment that you're not thinking he's a celebrity or he's kind of a celebrity, that put him under the non-list thing, or like just save his life. I'm thinking people are thinking more just save his life. What happens in that situation? That's something that you have to do beforehand, or is that something kind of known on the spot?
I mean, if he had been a patient before, and just got admitted and was, in ICU or something like that, and they didn't, have anyone to be able to find out what his wishes were, then more than likely what they would have done is, if they have his ID or information, they would have just said, "Let me transfer you to the nurse's station," or something else. And then the nurse's station would have been like, "Who are you? What do you,
before we give you any,"
because they're not going to tell you anything. They're going to want to know, like, "Oh, I'm his mom," or "I'm his sister, his brother," and then they're going to need some sort of details. Right. Like, they're still not going to tell him anything especially if he was like unconscious, because they don't have permission for that. Mm-hmm. But they could have at least said, "We need you to bring us paperwork or something saying that you've got a power of attorney in cases."
But basically what you're saying is that Melanie King's attempts were futile.
They weren't going to tell her that. I mean, if somebody slipped up with that, then they
that would have been their job probably, you know, right? But overall, I mean, and that went on for hours. I remember she was live streaming that, calling all over until later on when Melanie finally started to get confirmation from like people who were close to Kevin Samuels. And I'll put it up right. Let's see if I can throw it up real quick right here. Let me go back to the real thing. This is the channel. If I click on it, then it's just the sound might overtake, so I'm not going to do that. But it's like the first video. That was it was her yesterday, really trying to figure out what was going on. Here it is. Kevin Samuels has died. I think that was the video where she was live streaming, calling people all over, trying to figure out what was going on. And that was a long live stream. She was in the but I mean, there you go, almost 5 hours. 5 hours she was live streaming, just trying to figure, you know, things out. And, you know, she explained herself properly. She was like, well, you know, because in the past, her YouTube channel, along with other YouTubers, were helped. I forgot what case she was talking about. It was a case where the police weren't figuring out some murder victim, and
she said they continuously reviewed a bunch of footage of things, and
they were the ones who helped figure it out by doing what she was pretty much saying she was doing investigative, you know, work. And that's pretty much what she was doing. She wasn't, because I remember in the beginning of the video, she said, like, don't super chat me, don't do any of that, because
she said all that, and that was nice. But my only, I don't know the right word, is that she kept saying that she's a personal family friend. I mean, I'm a personal family friend.
Well, I mean, she had the guy's number.
But she had his number. But if I'm a personal family friend, then more than likely you would have sister, cousin, some family member's number to call to say, hey.
Well, I mean, personal to him. I mean, maybe what's going on a close friend to him, not necessarily a close friend to his family, other family. I mean, I'm close with Sean. I really don't know his sister. I don't know. I'm not gonna be. If something happened to him, I'd be calling Adele if I could even reach her, and it's probably on through Facebook. Because I don't have those numbers. I don't have a lot of my friends, close personal, or I consider close personal friends, their spouses or family. So that I kind of give her a pass on. But yeah, I see what you're saying. I think the attempt was. I feel like she was earnest about her motivations on it, but you're right. It was futile. Like she was not gonna get any closer to figuring it out the way she was doing it any faster than what anybody else was. Only people who were like really close to the family and really in the know were gonna make that happen. But guys, and that's not, like I said, we're not criticizing Melanie King. Hell, but now that that might be my channel that I might be watching her and what's the other one that I like now? I'm not a part of there's a lot of things I agree with and whatnot, but I don't consider myself a part of the red pill society and whatnot. I'm already woken up. So and I got my wife, so I'm fine. We're great, but. I did enjoy watching his show. I'm gonna miss it. I feel like there was some things that he was saying that what I was really learning from him was if I was to give advice to other people, maybe even to my own son or daughter in the future, not 100%, but there were some things that he was helping me to put into words, if that makes sense. There was some things that he was good at putting certain topics that I've thought of or even didn't think about, especially comparing my actions and my moves, and it's just not even just about relationships, just as myself as a young black man. I'm 42, and or just being a black man in America and in general, and and how I should carry myself, because he did have a lot of positive things to say about that, about the protecting the image of a black man, about how there are people men and women who will go out of their way to insult a black man. Like that was one of the examples that he would say if a woman was asking about getting with a high value man or something like that, and it was like, why? Like here's one of his examples is, how would you carry yourself to get that job from that white man that you're trying to get that job from at that company? and whatnot. Would you present yourself this way? And the one woman was like, no. Okay, so then why would you present yourself this way for a black man that you're trying to be in a relationship with? All, disrespectful or this way and that. When you're trying to get that job from the CEO white man, you all like, oh, I'm professional, I'm so courteous. But when you're trying to with Leroy Jackson, now you all like, oh yeah, blah, blah. Like those ways he put things in perspective that I found funny, I admired, and that I'm gonna miss. I was new to Kevin Samuels, but and it took me a while to kind of get what he was going like. Even my wife, she was like, I don't like the way he talks to, and when you've already made your mind up, there's no convincing sometimes. But I'm like, he does talk to men the same way he talks to women, but he talks to more women, so people only feel like he's only rude to women. And he tries to explain, and I've said this to people too, I am a reflection, I am a mirror. You send some crap to me, I'm gonna throw it right back at you. And I've seen him do that to men a lot, but you will only get in the clips of the when he does it to women because he talks to more women. So he got a reputation of only being rude to women, only doing this to women, only doing that. And a lot of the criticism I felt was fair. A lot of it I felt wasn't fair and he would prove it. And he was good at defending himself. The one thing that I'm worried about is that now that he's not allowed to defend himself, because he was one person that was really good at defending himself was him. And he shut people down a lot, especially when it was one-on-one. He's like, I feel like you're a this and I feel like you're a that. He went, okay, let's look at that. But now that he's dead, that's what happens to people. Now everybody and their mom feel like they got a way to attack him now, and now he's not allowed to say anything about it. Now it's open season.
I mean, I didn't like him, but I mean, like
people that are wishing him glad that he's dead. No,
never. I don't wish anybody dead. And my philosophy was always I'm not gonna.
I'm just not gonna watch.
I'm not gonna watch.
That was it.
I'm not gonna watch. I'm not gonna sit and comment and argue with you.
Yeah.
I'm just not gonna participate in it. I don't care for it. So therefore, I'll watch something else.
Yeah, and you would walk by me. I'm on my phone. Maybe I'm doing the dishes or something, or getting something from the kitchen. She would see my phone. You're listening to Kevin Samuels again. You ain't gonna say nothing. Okay, she just go. I'm not gonna listen to that. Just go away. So that was fine. It's not like it was. You ain't listening to that in this house. I'm like, who are you talking to? It's like, all right, high value man. That was what my friend Chris Haynes said. That was the joke that he said last night. It was like that's gonna be a whole bunch of women, especially the women that he did get into those verbal tussles with.
I already saw that on TikTok.
They're all
like, oh man, these people are fired up.
Yeah, and let's get into that real quick before, because we're about to. It's gonna be a short show. I'm only gonna make it like 30 minutes long. So we're diving into Twitter. It's still oh shit! I was just about to say it's still the number one tweet, and the second I was about to say it, now it's not. It was a tweet that was from a guy who was like something. Nah, damn it! I just had it. Now I got to paraphrase it. It was basically saying something like, all the man did was tell broke dudes and women, pretty much to stay in their lane and stop trying to be unrealistic unless you can level yourself up to us. Don't try to reach for a level that you're not on, pretty much. And people was bashing them like crazy. And I just had it, and it just disappeared. But just to go over through some tweets. For example, who is this? Frederick Pre-Order Patriarchy Blues says, Kevin Samuels didn't just practice aspects of misogyny. He legitimately hated black women. And something that Kevin Samuels would say something to like that would be, look at my track record. Look at all the black women who call me after this or that, or having a one-on-one counseling session, and come back and thank and be like, oh, look at that ring I got because I follow his advice. He would say that he would stand by his track record. That's something he would say to a person like that. Yeah, there was a lot of people who were upset with his tone and his temperament. But like I said, he was the best person to defend himself. But now that he's dead, there's they're all coming out of the woodworks. What's the next one say? Rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. Sometimes his deliveries wasn't the best, but he kept it real. And you can't deny that one. Let's look for one of the. I don't want to just only look at the people praising him because he has a lot of followers and stuff. Kevin Samuels said to beat women who didn't listen, and he said it's okay to defend your partner if he's a pedophile. I shouldn't even have read the whole word because I don't remember. I don't know about that, but it promotes safe sex and wanting better for yourself as a woman. Get a grip. Talk with Ash. I don't know if I even read that correctly. She's from D. Dot. She's really just British Kevin Samuels with better suits. Okay, whoever they're talking. Who are they talking about with that? Ash.
I don't know.
That, you know what? And that brings me to another thing. There's a void now in this space. He was, as this what's called the Red Pill Society was growing. A lot of these channels, Fresh and Fit and all that stuff, and the ups and downs. There were a lot of people who looked like Kevin Samuels went from almost like nowhere to instantly the top one. Like it obviously took time. It wasn't overnight. It wasn't undeserved. But now that he's gone, I bet you Fresh and Fit. I bet you all these other channels and stuff. Now who are they going to be jockeying? They're going to be jockeying for positioning on. We saw, was it today on somebody else's channel where they were live streaming? Was it the lawyer one?
Yesterday.
It was yesterday where they were like, he was just in the middle of a conversation talking about it now, and then boom, we want to donate super chat $400. I'm like, how much? I've never seen him get that kind of a donation before from a follower. Like, so it's like, I think now people are now going to start swarming to other channels, showing their support. Especially whoever the ones who were close with Kevin Samuels and whatnot. That's going to be the first. The lawyer, the top lawyer guy. I like him. His temperament is better. Let's see. What's this one say? Richard Cooper. Wait, didn't Kevin Samuels just tell men to be better and corrected bratty women, overinflated egos, and entitlement to reality? The truth sounds like hate when you hate the truth. Love him or hate him, you can't ignore him. And that's part of what I said was like, women are not unused to getting harsh reality checks from other women. I've seen my mom would tell, or my aunt would tell my mom, or vice versa. They would get on each other harsher than any part. People would like tiptoe around certain black women or certain women in general. But your other females will tell you, bitch, you need to, in a heartbeat. So it's not like it wasn't okay. But why is it that when it came from a man, it was misogyny? Is there? I mean, you don't agree with that, or what do you think about that? Because that's what people think. People think that when they get harsh criticism, when women get harsh criticism from other women, it's accepted. But when it comes from the same words, when it comes from a man, it's considered harsh.
Like I said, it's a tone. I mean, he would
But
flat
women
out
have
tell,
a crazy
no,
tone
but it
too.
would flat out tell some women, like, I fully understand. There's, some people are homely, or I don't know a nice word, and maybe some people are super attractive, where there's levels, but there's still a person out there everywhere that's going to be attracted, because you can be what someone else considers the most beautiful person in the world, and there's still going to be someone who's like, she ain't pretty. And the other way around, if that's your type. But he would flat out tell people, and I know his intention was to just knock them down a peg, but it's still rude when you're sitting on there and he's asking you, so what do you think about yourself? Well, I think I'm 8, 9, and he'd be flat out be like, the man
was an image consultant.
He'd be like flat out, no, ma'am.
You're
a 2 at best.
But to be fair, if I've never heard him give. I know what you're saying, but I know to be fair, he has never given that low of a rating. But when that woman who would be a 2 at best, or that's the video he's most famous for, average at best, who was average at best, when that woman would say, I'm going to go for George Clooney or this guy, and because he would break it down. Do you hang around with these people? Were you raised by these types of people? Do you frequent these types of people? And the answer was no. You don't know anything about these people. What makes you, if it hasn't happened in your 35 whatever years it was of life now, so why do you think you instantly are going to manifest it and make it happen? Because other people had told you anything was possible.
But I think, again, it's a delivery. and I know you felt like, well, he's getting his point across to them. That's not how I approach anybody.
Yeah,
That's
we don't-
just
yeah,
rude
we
and,
come
and
out with a different
hateful.
delivery. We
And it's
got it.
fine to want them to wake up and understand, but there are other ways to do it. But besides just pretty much telling them, baby, you are not attractive, and you ain't gonna get that, because that's you are saying. You're giving your opinion.
Well, he never would say.
You're not
he would never
attracted
tell
to
people
me.
that it was hopeless. He would tell people like if they were if overweight, well then you have to get within this. He would tell people what if you're trying to get this
But
guy
who
who's up
made
here.
you God to decide you're overweight, you don't look
they
good,
called
this
into
isn't a
his
good
show.
body type, like.
But they just like on this show with Entertainment News, if you're calling into my show and asking about movies and this and that or what's going on, we're talking about a certain topic. You're calling. They did not have to call. He has the history of the image consultant.
And I certainly would have never called in,
yeah.
but
But
again, you're
thousands of women
also
still
having
kept
a
doing
very big issue nowadays with generalizing what is supposed to be a perfect body type and what is supposed to be a perfect weight. And yeah, that's not okay.
I disagree only because I've watched them. When it's people, men or women, who were specifically saying that they're going for. For example, Kim Kardashian is very attractive. I'll use my words carefully because I'm talking with my wife right here. Kim Kardashian is a very attractive woman. If I was single and if I felt like I had an opportunity to, I want a Kim Kardashian type of woman. I've never been. She's now currently a billionaire. I don't frequent with billionaires. I don't know much. I don't know anything about billionaires, and I don't think I've ever met a billionaire. And so, but if my goal was to get Kim Kardashian, how am I gonna do it? But because I got my friends telling me that anything's possible, you don't think that a person, if I was in a situation where time is of the essence, you know, I feel like his whole approach was, we've tried throughout the 80s and the 90s, the anything is possible method. Oprah and all that stuff, you know, we tried that, and then and some women, they believed it, they went for it, they were fed that, and then they reached an age where, damn it, it's not going to happen, and it was too late. I feel like his approach was so harsh and direct was because he was certain. Some women he was talking to was like, you do not have the time to be thinking like that. You are no longer 21, you are 41. Stop making moves as if you're still 21.
Certainly not speaking of now, because I look much different. But when I was at my thinnest, I was not overweight, not very thin, very in shape, whatever. But I fully understood and recognized there are certain people that aren't going to go for me because I don't have fake boobs and all there are certain type that they're looking for. Mm-hmm. There's a way to say that, because I certainly didn't need anyone to say you're overweight, you need to lose this, you need to do that, versus just saying you're not the type that these people are going for. But
you are a more of a level-minded person. Like you would be amazed. There, I mean, like if you were even before we were there, when you were single and whatnot. I mean, because you're a very shy person. You can be shy sometimes. If you saw a celebrity, even if it was a celebrity that you had a crush on or something like that, I'm like, would you, knowing the type of that celebrity that you had crushes on and stuff like that, if you saw the type of women that person frequent and you knew that they didn't match with whether it was you 10 years ago, 20 years ago, or you today, if it didn't match, whether it was race, height, whatever it is, would you think, because I want them, I can just get them? I'm like, no, there's reality. But there were so many women that would call them out. I mean, reality just was not. And he would look at the camera and like with that, are you serious face? And I've seen so many women say the same thing to other women. Like, girl, he ain't, no, come on, like be so harsh with it. But I feel like because it was coming from a man. Yeah, you know. Assholes will get things like that's the whole thing. Like people who are assholes are usually the ones that get a lot of the attention and whatnot. I feel like he just was at an age. because he said previously he would be a quieter person. Felt like in certain, if I'm remembering correctly, he said in certain past relationships, he was like considered a pushover or something. And he was like, and after that, like that was it. I felt the same way. In my last relationship, I was pushover and stuff, going through ups and downs with a divorce and stuff like it hardened. I'm not, and I don't feel like I treat you like an ass or anything like that, but I'm not. I knew that I wasn't going to. I feel like back in the day, my voice. I felt like I didn't. I was like, you know, I brought into the whole concept, happy wife, happy life, like 100% that was the answer to everything. But it was like, well, but that's me saying my feelings don't matter either. So I learned balance, you know, I guess, and I don't feel like I'm a pushover. I'm not an asshole. I can be, but I don't feel like I'm 100% an asshole in a relationship. But I'm never going to be like a silent little mouse. When I'm upset about something, I feel like my feelings are hurt, or if I want something, you know me, I verbalize it. I no longer internalize it. I verbalize it. I'm not afraid to regret. But if you'd have met me a couple of years ago, back in the day, I internalized a lot. So I just got to a point where I'm never going to do that again. And I saw that that's probably one of the things that Kevin was trying to do. I'm gonna read a couple of more to see if I can find. The ones that have the blue check, I'm always curious on because I want to see what people who are more popular are saying. Is it Uji Anya? Who knew all this time he was telling black women will die alone and unwanted and ran through a leftover? Kevin Samuels was talking about himself. See, right? That's what I'm saying. And the second you're no longer able to defend yourself, they'll come out of the woodworks with it. The difference, though, is that Kevin Samuels wasn't saying that to people who passed away, who died. So he told people to their face what he really thought. But now that he's dead, people are just going to come out of the woodworks with all kinds of insults. And I don't like talking ill of the dead. My hair's longer than yours. Damn. So Kevin Samuels really did die. That's sad and unfortunate. And the fat bitch is jumping up and down, celebrating his death is the most exercise I'll ever gonna get. See, the hardcore fanboys and stuff like that. This is going to be an online thing between his detractors and his. Because you know me, I don't like celebrity worship. I met more than my fair share of celebrities, even ones that I'm dying to meet or would jump through the ceiling to meet if they were eating dinner, if they were. I'm not gonna bother you. I'm like, it's just like I don't. That having that kind of blind loyalty for somebody you've never met. I mean, yeah, maybe he meant something to you. That's great, but to go now, see that to me is too far. And like he didn't, like Kevin Samuels didn't say stuff like that, but hardcore supporters will, and it's just gonna. Well, I think for the next year, it's gonna be back and forth. Kevin Samuels is gonna be he's gonna be martyrized by some, and the image of Satan to others. And it's just, and I feel like it's gonna go wild.
I just don't. Same as those fresh and fit guys. I don't even want to listen to it because all it does is anger me.
We're more of an Aleman and preach type of guys. Those guys are funny. I like the way they do their thing. But yeah, no, fresh and fit, no. But I'm curious though, who's going to be trying to jock for position to be the next Kevin Samuels? That's what they're going to call it now. He did something so fast, and I'm curious if anybody out there knows what he was, if he mentioned it or what he was alluding to. He was saying that something was about to come in the horizon. I don't know if it was like a show, if he got a deal or something. I wonder if any other producers, if that was true, are going to reveal that. People might lie and say, "Oh, well, I was in Kevin Samuels' business and we were about to do this." People might lie. People might be telling the truth. But I wonder. But he did hint that something was about to happen from his YouTube channel. It was going to evolve into something else. And now that's all come to a halt. And I guess we're going to see what people are going to do with this time. The fresh and fit guys, the Alvin Preach guys, the lawyer, what's this? I forgot his name. Melanie King, all these. I mean, and these are just a few names that I know of. I'm not, like I said, I'm not versed in the Red Pill Society. I didn't do a deep dive. Like I said, I don't do that. I got a lot of other things that I like to talk about. But this is a hot topic now, and it's going to be interesting for the next, if you're into that world. I guess that's the question I'll ask you guys. For the people who are watching, put in the box below, comment, and send me some suggestions of the people in that world, the red pill or whatever it's called, the Kevin Samuels types of channels that talk on those same subjects. Send me that list of people who he knew, people who he collabed with. I was fairly new to Kevin Samuels myself. I only know of him, the Fresh and Fit guys, Alvin Preach, things like that. So I'm like I said, it's not my world that I'm diving into. I listen to it, but it's not something I'm like hardcore, like, oh God, you know. So I'll be curious to find out what the other one, because I'm going to research some of those other channels to kind of hear what they're kind of saying about it. And maybe, just maybe, I might go back and do some reaction videos to some of his old stuff. I don't know if you're gonna help me with those, but it's like, no. It's like, no. And one last thing before I go. This is not a dig. I'm sorry if it's gonna sound like I'm talking crazy, but even just as recent as last week, I remember Kevin Samuels having a conversation with somebody and saying, talking to a lady who was like 51 or 52, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm 53." I remember him saying that. I mean, in recent months, I'm 53. And when he died, it was 56-year-old. And then I just saw on TMZ, 57-year-old YouTuber Kevin Samuels. I'm like, was he lying about his age this whole time?
That stuff gets crazy, because I also saw one when I was trying to find out what happened. Mm-hmm. One that was like, oh yeah, I heard it was all cocaine, and I was like, yeah,
it don't matter. I don't care if it was.
But I was just like, you're really,
he's 53 years old. Really he can do whatever he wants.
Diving into like,
he can snort whatever he wants. I don't care. I don't care if he was doing it right off of another person's butt. That's his business. But I'm like, it's just as bad. I mean, like, you can have a drink and get into a car wreck, and I mean, that's stuff to me on, man. People just want to.
I just think people start reaching and pull it. Yeah. So it's like. Yeah.
A lot of people were hoping though that it was just him, like just going to the hospital for some minor thing, and then he's about to come back.
Some things you'll just not. I mean, you make fun of the fact that I watch more BET shows, and that's not what you watch. But there are some of those that I watch.
You're gonna let all of everybody out there know that I'm the black one. Some of
those celebrities, their ages are very unknown. Like, it's like, oh, I heard here this, that, like. And you're never really going to know the real
what's really going on,
real age, or real what's the truth. I was
overall, I mean, my channel isn't about what his channel was about and whatnot. It's just that I was in awe of how fast he was rising. I was genuinely watching and curious on where it was going to go. I felt like by this time next year, with him if he was still alive, that he was going to probably be on a whole different level, because the rise of this audience is just like when the rise of Oprah, when Oprah was first coming up, women were feeling like there was a voice for that movement and whatnot. This was another movement that was coming back. I mean, people might say this is an old movement that was already in the status quo for centuries and since the beginning of time. And now it's coming, whatever you want to say. But whatever it was, or it's something that's happening. It was something, and there's money to be made there. Whether you agree with it, or disagree with it, whether it was right or wrong, that's subjective. But there is now a void, and I'm curious on what's going to happen with it. Maybe there's a better way to do it. Maybe there isn't. I heard it was it was probably a cardiac thing. Mm-hmm. Even on his show, he would have a drink here and there. Notice that one thing I saw him drinking all the time, Red. Almost every time he was drinking. I'm not saying that that's what did it, but that couldn't be at his age be very good for him, right?
I mean, caffeine's. It depends on. I mean, do you have one a day? Because that's not a big deal. Do you have 4 a day? Because that's a big deal.
That's a big deal. Yeah.
And some people do drink energy drinks like
Crazy.
all day long.
Like I should calm down with the monsters drink. Huh?
Well, again, one a day is not a big. The caffeine content in one is very normal for a day.
Yeah. And
But some of these people down multiple.
he was drinking a lot of them. Like I would at least see him on his show. I don't know how much he drinks. Maybe he only drinks one every other day for all I know, and only drinks it when he's about to do a show. But I'm not saying this ain't, like I said, this ain't that type of show. This is not the what really killed him conversation. It's something that I just noticed because I'm 42. I'm getting close to the age that he was and whatnot. So I think about that, and that's one of my biggest fears. One of my biggest fears, especially as a black man, is to die of cardiac arrest. I'm terrified. But anytime I feel a tightness in my chest, I'm like, oh my God, I freak out.
Well, I think, and I know somebody was posting it as more as a dig on him, but I'm not saying this as a dig on him, just in general speaking.
Mm-hmm.
You can't look at somebody and determine how healthy or not healthy they are. You can assume and say, well, this person needs to lose weight, so they're probably really in bad health. And this person over here looks like they work out 20 times a day, and I bet they're good to go.
There's people that die in the gym.
That doesn't tell you anything.
Yeah.
The look.
I saw a comment like that. Somebody was talking about that's why he wears all those suits, because he was covering up how skinny he was. I'm like, he seems very healthy.
None of that determines anything.
Mm-hmm. But that's what he would say. There's my critics and detractors trying to put another black man down again. But I guess that's the question, guys. Let us know what you guys think. Fill in the blanks of, like I said, that wasn't something that I did a deep dive in. That was just a channel that I watched frequently. That's a topic that everybody's talking about now. That's why I decided to make this the main topic of today's episode of Talking Through the Medias. I'm sorry, of the Randumb specific show. And just help me out again, guys, and help me fill in those blanks of the things that I might be wrong about, the things that I might be missing. But Kevin Samuels died on May 5th, right? And I'll say one last thing, that he was a geek just like me, and him passing away after Star Wars Day and stuff like that, the Revenge of the Fifth or whatever they want to call it and whatnot. The Force was very strong with him. So I don't know. Maybe I can find some kind of, maybe there's some peace of mind somewhere with that, because he was a geek. He loved his Star Wars references. He loved the things that he used to say about Star Wars. You wouldn't like it. There was some stuff. He was one of us as far as blurs, those blurs out there, the black nerds. He was one of us. So I appreciated him. And every time he did a movie reference, it was a couple of times I tried to reach out to him. Every time he did that, because this show is about movies. Whenever he would do movie reference, especially the color purple, it would crack me up. But that's one of the things I liked about his channel: those deep dives, those deep cuts with the movie reference. And I was mostly watching his show, wondering what the next movie reference. It reminded me of a writer. Got Eric, but Marvel references inside books, and until Marvel hired. But that's what you reminded me. But anyway, guys, that's the show. I just want to talk a little bit about that. Besides the other things, comment below. Let me know what you guys think. Send us your questions, your comments, concerns. Again, I'll put it up again. If you guys you want to talk about movies, what's streaming, what's trending news, entertainment news, and all that extra stuff, you can do that right here. We also have a podcast. Come follow us there. When you send questions, when you're live, we're doing super chats. We'll break into the show and we'll talk about those things with you guys. Or we'll talk about it on We Got Your Mail. Become a member, become a follower, hit the like button, let us know what you guys think. And until next time, guys, have a good one. Well, he was a peace. We are gone. Bottle